Hello everybody, this is 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿, author to Juggling the Issues Living with Asperger's Syndrome, and one of many advocates in the entire world just educating about autism and just explaining it from a first-hand perspective. And in this video I want to just answer the question, or try to answer the question, why do a lot of autistics like talk with their hands a lot, why we sometimes move, and why some people move and sort of flap their arms or their hands more than others and such. And in this video I want to try to explain that. So something that a lot of us do is use movement to concentrate. We use movement to help us think and to help us talk and speak, and it just helps us like get all the memories back, you know, what we're wanting to say. And that's why you see me really like moving my arms to so that I could articulate this you know, smoothly, so that it's not like spitting and sputtering and stuttering and whatnot. And in this video I just want to just show you what it may be like if I force myself not to use my hands. And I'm going to do that by telling a story. And I was thinking about this for maybe half a month at least, and I'm like, I have to think of a perfect story, or maybe a lesson I'm learning in school, like a microbiology lesson or something. But I thought maybe a story. But when I do teach, like when I teach Royal Rangers and such, and when I'll teach in the future, and you know, I'm teaching lessons, like whether it's in science or whatever, or just wilderness survival skills, I do find that I have to talk with my hands and my arms and such. So I'll be telling a story of something that happened 10 years ago today. Oh, and today is October 29th, 2020, and I'll be telling you a story from my journal entry from 10 years ago today on pages 203 to 204 of what happened on Friday, October 29th, 2010, when I was a sophomore over in Newport Harbor High School and such. If you're interested, you could read that story on Twitter if you want to. It's in the link in the description below. But I'm just going to tell part of what happened and what came on after that and such. And I'm going to do it twice. The first time I'm going to not use my hands or my arms, and the second time I'm going to use my arms. And the reason I'm ordering it like that is because if I do it once, then the second time around I'll be comfortable. So no wonder I would possibly be comfortable with, you know, no hands or whatnot. So I'm going to do no hands first and just see how it goes. I actually haven't done this before, so you're actually witnessing this you know, firsthand and such. So gotta stop using my hands. But before I do that, I also want to say that some of us do, you know, if we could flap our arms or our hands when we're excited or when we're stressed or whatnot, or a combination, like what I found, a combination of all of the above, basically, and the things I haven't mentioned. And again, it's to help us talk and communicate to other people and such. And some people have said, like, or some people have, you know, they flap their arms a bit more than others. I don't think I do it that much relative to other people, but I just wanted to try and articulate that this is, you know, what I believe and what a lot of people believe it is. It does help us to talk and such. It helps us to, you know, remember and recall what it is that we want to say in a timely fashion and such, and not to protract or take away any time and such. So this is what happened 10 years ago today. I was at school and I was by Sims Hall and I was juggling during nutrition, and the people, there's a whole group of people who you know, were just watching me juggle, and I think they were upperclassmen and such. And all of a sudden, for no reason at all, one came to me and he was holding $1 in his hand, extending it out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I know this is illegal. I can't accept money. I don't have a license and such, but I don't want to offend them. And it's like, I just don't want to make them feel bad, or say, I just didn't know what to do. It never happened before. So I decided to take the money anyway. It was only $1. And I looked around. There's no security guards or anybody, and I thought, well, you know, people give money away to borrow. You know, people borrow money all the time. I've given people money and to have them so that they could borrow it, and sometimes they just don't return it or whatnot. But then right after that, all of a sudden another person came. So I was having like a crowd of people coming along. So another person gave me $1, and I'm like, this is a sticky situation. I know this is wrong, but I just put it in my pocket nonchalantly and such. And then third period happened. So I went upstairs. The bell rang. I went upstairs, and I sat down, and it was the beginning of class. All of a sudden, my RSP teacher just came to me, and just asked me to come outside. And I almost started to panic at that moment, because it's like, there's no way that she figured it out, or that she could have known. And I looked around, there's nobody, but maybe this was something else. I went outside, and I was a little perturbed, because she was calling me out of class. I mean, she's usually there anyway, because a lot of us RSP students were in the same period, third period, and she would just hang out over there. She usually hang out in a lot of classes when there's a lot of RSP students there. And she like looked at me and said, I was told by somebody that you were either begging or asking, or no, not begging, but I mean asking for money or collecting money and such, and you can't do that here and such. And now I'm starting to defend myself. I mean not like I was not like defending myself like in a defensive tone. I wasn't doing that. And I in my mind I was like, how on earth, literally how on earth could she have known and such? I mean, I even looked around, and then why didn't the security guard or somebody who told her, why didn't they just come up to me and tell me, and maybe could have helped me out and told those boys they can't even give me money, because I didn't want to accept the money anyway. But I was, you know, I'm autistic, and I just can't. I don't know what to do in that situation, but you know, be friendly and not offend anybody and such. I mean, my RSP teacher wasn't that upset or whatnot, and sometime in the day, if not right then and there, I gave her the $2. According to my journal entry, if you want to read it, you would read this part, that I went back to school to talk to my RSP teacher, and I forget exactly what, and I don't want to take like a few minutes to speculate, because that's what I could do, but that'd just be a tangent, a relevant tangent, but it just make this story a bit longer, so I won't do that. So the deal is that I go out and I try and find those people for the rest of the year. My RSP teacher kept the $2 in her drawer all this time, and I looked for them. I never saw them before, so how could I recognize them a second time? I mean, I knew what they looked like tall, a bit muscular, short hair, or at least one of them was, but I just couldn't find them. I did read in my journal today that I told a person about it, and the person said, keep it, just keep it, talking about the money. But I'm like, I'm an honest person, and such. And well, anyway, the year went on, And toward the end of the year, my RSP teacher gave me the $2. She just put it in front of my final exam, or one of my final exams, I believe, or something, and just gave me a serious look and just didn't say anything. I knew exactly what was going on. She just walked away, and I guess I legally owned those $2. So what I did, and I guess I figured that I was going to do this anyway, I just put the $2 in the offering plate the next Sunday at church, because I'm an usher there at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and I passed the offering plates and I took it out of my suit pocket. I just put it there. I didn't fill out anything that had my name on it, like an envelope. I just put it in there and just wanted to give it as an offering. And so that's my story. That's my story, and I think I hopefully did fairly well. I mean, what do you think? But that's my story. Okay, so I tried my best there, and so now let's repeat that story while using my hands and such, and just see, I'm curious myself to see what would happen. So I was at school at Newport Harbor High School, and it was at nutrition, and I was juggling out, and I must have got this crowd, and there's a couple of people there that you know, they sort of saw me juggling. They were very impressed, and one of them just, you know, stuck out his hand and just started to, it had $1 in it, and at this point I was like, okay, what do I do? Okay, I mean, do I accept it? Because I know this is not legal. I need a license. And at the same time, I didn't want to offend them, but it's like I took it anyway and put it in my pocket, looked around, and, you know, made sure nobody was watching, or no, like, teacher or security or assistant principal or whoever and such. But next thing I know, another person comes over and gives me another $1, and I'm like, okay, this like never happened before, but I know this, I can't accept it, but what could I do? So I put it back, the bell rang, I went I was by Sims Hall, I went to my Complet 2 class, and I was like, the bell rang, it was the start of the class, and my RSP teacher comes over and asks me to come out so that she could talk to me about something. And I sort of had mixed feelings. I mean, what could this possibly be? And I hope that she didn't find out about this, because I don't know. I mean, maybe she would think that I was asking for money. I wasn't asking for money. And it was sort of strange, because she like took me out while class was in session. I mean, so I thought, oh my gosh, this must be serious. So I went outside, and she sort of politely told me that she found out, somebody told her, like one of the assistant principals or security guards or somebody, or teacher, somebody told her that he saw me accept money and put in my pocket. And so I started to defend myself. I mean, not in a defensive way, but, you know, I started to defend myself in a way where, you know, I just didn't know what to do. And I believe she basically understood. And so you could read in my journal if you want to, but I went back later. I forget exactly why, but I went back later, and I guess just to talk to her about it, like saying maybe how apologetic I was. I don't know, but whatever happened, that day I gave her the $2. And the deal was, you know, I was going to go out and try and find the two people, and it's like, I'd never seen them before. And I mean, I sort of knew what they looked like, but only I mean, at the same time, I just didn't know who they were. And I told a person about the whole darn story, and they said, keep it, just keep it. And I'm like, no, I'm an honest person. And so I just, you know, went over for the rest of the year trying to do this endeavor. And by the end of the year, my teacher just, I was minding my own business, probably doing a final exam, and the RSP teacher just gave me the $2 that she kept in her drawer all year. And we looked at each other, and she just walked away, and we both knew what the $2 was. And I guess for months leading up to this, I was like, okay, I mean, it'd make me feel better if I just give it in the offering plate. So I'm an usher at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and I believe it was the next Sunday, probably sometime in June 2011, I just took the $2 out and put it in the offering plate. And I didn't write my name on an envelope where the church like kept track of everybody, I guess, but you know, I just put it in the offering plate and everything just anonymously, I guess, and as I was passing it from aisle to aisle and such, or I meant pew to pew and such. So, and that's the whole story. So that's kind of it, you know. And if you've watched some of my other YouTube videos, you know that I always talk with my hands, and it really does help me. I mean, personally, I think that helped me out like the second time around. I think that I think I did better, but that's me personally. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, it was relatively easier. I mean, I'm not saying that doing this makes it flawless, like I will never be stuttering again. I never said that, but you know, it just helps me out more. There were fewer interruptions this time than last time trying to be absolutely still. And I sort of foundered a little bit or failed a little bit. I've moved my hands and I like bobbed my head up and down and such. And if you saw like the first time around, because it helps me talk, it helps me communicate, it helps me, you know, really helps me communicate what it is I want to say in a time-efficient manner and such. So anyway, I hope that you liked it. I'm just inviting you to share it if you want to. I do have some relatively good update, but still not really a good, but not negative either. But I sort of got in communications with the OC Register on Facebook, and there's a nice person named Stephanie who helped me out and said that my story was like pushed to the editorial desk or editor's desk or something. And let's just hope that they're actually going to consider it. And it was a story about my previous YouTube video of how I, you know, my message to the bullies and how much I see potential in them. I mean, they have purpose in this life, but they just need to stop being bullies and believe in themselves as much as I believe in them and such. And, you know, I just hope that, you know, in the end that this whole world would be, you know, relatively at peace and everybody, you know, respects one another, is kind to one another. And that could only happen if we work together and such. So I'm inviting you. I mean, you might be a person that has a voice, and I just encourage you to continue with that voice at whatever platform or platforms you're in. I also invite you to, you know, just if you want to, just share my videos or my book to other, you know, places, newspapers, podcasts, television, or schools or libraries if you're in the OC area, or you know, news or podcast wherever you're at, so that I could enter into that community and just give an encouragement. That's all I care about, is just encouragement, and also other people that you know want to be an encouragement, that you put their names down too and share and such. So that's where I'm at right now. And I just hope that this video was helpful. I hope I answered questions from my first-hand experience. Stay strong and have an excellent rest of your week.